and it won't be the last pandemic. The next one could be far more severe. I mean, this one, it killed millions. It was awful. We got the vaccine. Actually, President Trump's leadership was.
Another great wind is going to sweep all over the world. And when he spoke the word wind, it was made for me to know this. Another great wind, worse than coronavirus pandemic, is going to sweep this whole world. The world is shaken with fear and trembling because of coronavirus. But the word of the Lord came to say, another worse than coronavirus is going to come. When that comes, it will make this coronavirus look like child's play. So when this great wind comes, it will sting people like a hornet stinger. When a hornet stings a person feels hot with fire-like sensation and swelling like boils appear on their bodies. In the same manner, when this wind stings a person will feel hot like fire over them, and their temperature will rise above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, above 38 degrees centigrade. So the feelings will be hot like fire burning all over their body, and fever will shoot up in their bodies more than 100 degrees, and boils will develop all over their faces and bodies, especially in the chest area. These are the physical symptoms when this virus stings.
Most of the work we're going to do to be ready for pandemic 2. I call this pandemic 1.
Pandemic 2.
We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic.
When we look at what is happening in the world today, the disease outbreak, the economic instabilities, the global tension for third world war with Iran and so on, you must learn to look beyond the surface. The Bible has already warned us of these events that must take place before the end of the age, as we draw closer to the end of the age. And in this case particularly, what we are looking at is the hand of the pale horse rider that is seeking a means of expression. And until the death toll that is desired, until the desired amount has been met, they will not stop. Okay, so what happened in 2020 was supposed to move humanity to the next phase of the agenda of the devil through the hands of the globalists. But by the mercy of God, it was halted. And we have been given 10 years to prepare. I call it the golden decade. And we have only 4 years left. Many people went back to life as usual. What we learned through the teachings in Genesis with the life of Joseph was supposed to prepare the world for what is coming at the end, the 7 years of famine, and the world and the people are not ready. They are still living unprepared. But if you notice, between 2020 till date, a lot of people have been waking up from deep slumber. People have been learning the truth. People have been coming to Christ. Things are getting exposed on the internet. We are seeing a lot of revelation. The media has been flooded with new information, whistleblowers, warnings. All this is happening so that the people can be prepared for what is coming. Another lockdown is approaching. And what happened in 2020 was a test to see the state of the collective consciousness of the world. And there was clearly no resistance. And so while there is lockdown going on, the collapse is taking place. While the collapse is taking place, the new system is being introduced. So the collapse of the systems for the world as we know it will take place during the lockdown. Okay, and while it is taking place, they will introduce the new system.
When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the U.S. dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very strange and disturbing new reality.
And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest?
First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened and the contagion has spread worldwide. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say, closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say, transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from their money, riots will erupt. It's going to get really bad really
But
quickly.
how would such a freeze actually work? And wouldn't that be highly illegal?
Well, it wouldn't be illegal technically because they've been quietly laying the groundwork for years. They've rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch and they'll impose ICE 9 rapidly.
The strategy of the enemy for the end times is the cause and effect system. In 2020, nations were shut down. In 2020, the economy was paused. What is coming this time around? They will first introduce a new virus that is much worse than COVID-19, because for the great reset to take place, they must first remove the old systems. So the world as we know it will be gone by the time the new lockdown comes in, because for the agenda to take place, they have to reduce the population of the earth. That is why they have been talking about depopulation for many years. It is part of the great reset. Now, in 2020, the economy was paused. This time around, there will be a controlled, using some computing, a controlled collapse and meltdown of the systems and the economy of the world. And while this is taking place, they will introduce the new digital currency, and that will aid them in infusing and forcing the people to take the quantum dot tattoos to control those who have been vaccinated and to checkmate those who have not been vaccinated. In 2020, we had the immunity passport. This time around, the quantum tattoos, the quantum dot tattoos will be used to validate your access into society. So the great reset is literally reset of the systems of the world. The lockdown that is coming will be a total dissolving of the system that will lead to the collapse of the economy. And while the lockdown is happening, while people are trying to address the new bioengineered pandemic, the strategy, the systems of the new world order will be introduced and set in place. Okay, that is why we have this period to prepare. Anyone who is unprepared in that time will be unable to have any life after the system has been set in place. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. First, they will introduce a virus to kill and reduce the global population for easier control, and they will introduce the vaccine, which will be also the Trojan horse. This time around, it will be a much worse Trojan horse. It will be used to sterilize the people from giving birth, and the vaccine will be used to alter the DNAs, just as the Bible says in Revelation chapter 13 verse 14 to 17. Anyone who takes this mark, cannot be saved. Remember, the DNA carries the signature of God. The next step is to introduce the immunity passports, and the immunity passports will give access to job, will give access to transport, to Medicare, to food, to businesses. So before the quantum dot chip can be introduced in every part of the world, the immunity passport will be given first, and you cannot access the immunity passport without taking the vaccine. First, the lockdown, they collapse the system and the global economy. Then they introduce the new financial system, which you can only access through vaccine. And then to prove that you are vaccinated, you'll be scanned, and only through the quantum dot chip or the RFID chip can you be registered into the new system. And due to the AI controlled market meltdown and collapse, the paper money will become worthless. So many people will go into the lockdown rich and come out under the poverty line. And with the new world order comes the one world government, and with the one world government, then they can introduce the Antichrist. So the system has been set off. The systems will be broken down while the world is being put on pause, and the instrument of fear, just as they did in 2020, will also be introduced. Many will begin to align and take the mark. So these things will be enrolled using the basic income wage, and the CBDCs will be implemented. This will lead to the Third World War. This will lead to riot. This will lead to protest. This will lead to cities being burned. This will lead to the killings, the stealings, the lootings. Because of lawlessness, the love of many will wax cold, and people will grow offended in the church and will begin to leave because they were never warned. They were never told of these things happening. There are so many now who believe that Christ will come and rescue them before the tribulation, and that is deception. And because of that, people will grow offended and they will turn away. We are talking about 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, that before the great day of the Lord, there will be the falling away of many believers, many in the church, and then the man of perdition, the son of lawlessness, will be revealed. Then the end will come.